In today's video, I will be walking you over Keela's fundraising tool and see how you can use it for your organization.
When you open the fundraising tab of your Keela's tool, so when we go over here, the first thing that we see here is our fundraising summary tab. So the fundraising summary tab is going to give you a general glimpse and overview of how your organization is doing when it comes to fundraising. So at the top, we're going to see fundraising activities. You're going to see new donations, new revenue, and new contacts in the last 30 days, but you can alter that to 60 days or 90 days. And you can go ahead and download here the fundraising report, which we're going to cover in a bit. Then if we scroll down, we have your donation goals. So you can set up donation goals for your organization. So you can set up monthly goals, quarterly goals, and yearly goals. And to set those, you go here to the three dots and you click edit goals, and you can edit them here for what your organization is looking for as goals. On the right, we have your donation tracker. So it tracks the donations that have come in on the last 30 days, and you can change this to see the timeline that you want. And you can also expand to make the graph a little bit bigger. Moving down, we have also revenue goals. So you can edit here the goals and set the goals for your organization. And on the right, we're going to do this, see the same here. So you can see your revenue tracker. So that would be kind of showing you an overview of how your organization is doing. As we scroll down, we have key performance indicators or KPIs. KPIs are powered by Keela Intelligence, and these are essentially numbers at a glance, and they compare your organization standing to an organization of a similar size. And you can go ahead and add KPIs. So we have KPIs for contact data, which is donors. We have KPIs for fundraising data and for email marketing. So you can go ahead and add those, and you can see what your current, which is for your organization, and what the benchmark is. And if you open a specific one, so let's see this one, donor retention rate, and you click on more, you can see more data and like what it is, like how it's calculated, why does it matter, and how you can use this KPI within your organization. As we continue to scroll down, we have a list of the 10 most recent transactions of your organization. So you're going to see a list of those, and then you can be able to go ahead and open them from there. And you can go ahead and alter here. You can show 20 or 30 of the most recent transactions if you wish to see more. So at the top of the summary section, we have our fundraising report. So when you click on your fundraising report, you can give your report a title and you can select up to how many years you want it to include. So I'm just going to do 3 years, and I'm going to click save, and it usually takes a little bit of time for it to be downloaded, processed, and downloaded. So once you see the notification bell here, you can go ahead and open it from here. Once the report has been generated, you're going to get this notification here. Your fundraising report is ready to download, and we're going to click here. You're going to see it here, a preview. We're going to click download, and it's going to be downloaded to your computer. And then when you click on it, it's going to open, and it's going to give you a big overview report. So you see your table of contents. You're going to get a lot of graphs and amount data for your organization. So this is a really good report that we see that organizations use to share with their board members or when they want to get analytical information from their organization. The next section that we have on our fundraising tool in Keela would be our forecasting section. And this forecasting tab is going to be using data on your account to make the prediction. So the first thing that we have over here is donation forecasting. So you can kind of forecast what your donations are going to be looking like by adjusting the churn rate. So as I adjust this, it changes, and by adjusting your correction factor. So you can kind of get a glimpse of what the forecast is going to be for your organization. And then as we continue to scroll down on the left, we have 2022 transaction types, and it's going to look at all of your transactions and determine which ones are one-time donations, recurring donations, one-time revenues, and recurring revenues. And you can click on those to see kind of the totals there. To the right, we have donor scores. So Keela gives a score to your donors based on like what their giving history is to your organization. So you can see here your donor scores where your median is, and you can see here by increasing your median donor score by 35% this year, you could raise an additional amount of money. So this would be powered by Keela's intelligence tool for your contact data. At the bottom, we have donor readiness. So in this case, I do not have enough data, but this is going to give you a list of contacts that are ready to go ahead and donate to your organization. So you can go ahead and reach out to those contacts and ask for a donation. And then to the right, we have time of year. So Keela is going to calculate what time of the year donors are most likely to donate to your organization. So in this case, I see that May and December are my two highest months to ask for donations. The next section that we have on your Keela fundraising tool would be the transaction. So on this tab here, you're going to see a list of all of the transactions that have been logged on your Keela account. And you can see here that we have the contact, amount, transaction type, if a receipt has been issued, if the transaction has been paid, the letter, when this transaction was created in Keela, campaign they received an impact area. You can also go ahead and alter the columns over here. So I don't want, let's see, date created. I don't want to see date received at the top here. You can do so that, and then you can alter the one. So I don't want impact area or campaign or letter. And that's going to change the way that you see it over here. We have here a search bar where you can use this search bar to search for the name of the contact. So if I want to see Lola's transactions, I can go ahead and type Lola over there. You can go ahead and export the transactions by using our export button over here, and you can export them into a spreadsheet. You can go ahead and add filters to these transactions to see a more narrowed list of the transactions. So you can use filters, let's say like date received, and you only want the transactions of last month. You can go ahead and that's going to give you a smaller list over there. And columns, I showed you how you can alter the columns, and in this button you can go ahead and create a donation or a revenue transaction manually from your Keela account. So when we go ahead and open a transaction, let's open this one. You're going to see here that we have the contact information to the left, so any of the contact highlights, and then to the right we have the transaction details. So we have like total amount, the receive date, what type, the receipt, the serial number, gift type, transaction status, delivery status, the ID, and then the frequency. So in this case, this is a recurring transaction. And then at the bottom, we have any associations linked to the transaction. And then to go back, we just hit this back button and we're back here to the transactions list. The next section on Keela's fundraising tool would be the scheduled recurring section. So in this section, you're going to see a list of all of the scheduled recurring series that you have been logged on your account. So when you open it here, you're going to see the contact name, the status of it. So you can either see draft, active, pre-canceled, or canceled as the status is. You see the total amount of the transaction, what their billing cycle is. So we have weekly, monthly, or annual. And then you're going to see the transaction type. So you can have either recurring donations or recurring revenues. So when you open a specific one, let's go here into Marilyn's one, you're going to see here to the left Marilyn's contact highlights, and you're going to see here the recurring amount. So we have $50 when the next payment is going to be scheduled. So this is for October 18, the status of it. Then we have that the transaction is a donation, it's a money gift, and the payment method is cash. We also have the receipt option. In this case, you have to do not create automated receipt, but the other two would be to create a receipt after each transaction or to have a cumulative receipt at the end of the year. And then at the bottom, we have the association. So we have impact area, campaign, soft credit, form. So if this transaction came through a form, the source, keywords, if there's a dedication or notes. And at the bottom, you're going to see the paid transactions and when they were received and if they've been receipted here. So you can see a list of those there at the bottom. And then you have an actions tab here, so you can edit the details. So you can edit the amount when it's repeats, the day, and then the receipt setting and any associations to it. And then this would be where you can also go ahead and cancel the recurring series. If we will go back over here, we have the same functionality here for the search bar. So you can search by the contact name. You can add filters to make the list smaller. You can alter the columns here. And you can also see the notification, so you can get notified when a recurring transaction is canceled or when a payment fails. And you can create a new recurring series from here. The next section on our Keyless fundraising tool would be pledges. So pledges is essentially a promise to give that a donor gives to your organization. So in this case, you're going to see here the list of pledges. You're going to see the contact, the pledges associated to the total amount that they've pledged to give, when their start date is, and when their deadline is. You can also give it the name to the pledge, what the status is. So we have either active, completed, or overdue, and then if it's a donation or a revenue over here. So we can go ahead and open one. Let's do this one. So you're going to see here to the left any of the contact highlights of the contact that is assigned to this pledge. You can see here the pledge details. So we have $5,000, the amount that has been received, and what's the outstanding amount. You can see the status, the name of the pledge, that's a donation, when the start date and when the end date is. You can go ahead and add attachments and any associations to the pledge. And at the bottom, you're going to see the transactions that have been associated to the pledge. And when you receive more transactions for this, you can go ahead and add the transaction here. And then on the actions bottom, you can edit the information, you can cancel the pledge, or you can delete the pledge, or you can add a transaction to it. You can go ahead and also add installments for the outstanding amount. And then we can go back over here and you can search for the contact here. You can add filters, alter the columns, and this is where you can go ahead and add the pledge. The next section that we have here on the fundraising tool would be admin, and under admin we only have sources. So we always like to say that our admin tool is kind of getting built up. On sources, you can see that there's a where you can create sources that you can add to transactions, and you can think about this as a way to note if a transaction came from outside of Keela, if you want to narrow it down for where they came from. So a popular one that we see is Facebook. So we see that organizations receive transactions through Facebook donations and then they pass them on to Keela so they can add the Facebook source to kind of um, add those associations to the transaction. So this would be where you can create the source, you can edit the name of the source, and you can go ahead and delete the source under the action buttons over here. The last section on our fundraising tool would be our receipts tab over here. And on the receipts tab, we have three sections here. So we have unreceipted transactions, approved transactions, and receipt groups. The first one is unreceipted transactions. So you're going to get a list of the transactions on your account that has not been receipted. And you can either change it for the current fiscal year or the previous year. And this would be where you can go ahead and use Keela's bulk receipting tool to go ahead and push out receipts in bulk. So in this case, you can select the transactions that you want to go ahead and move forward for bulk receipting. So let's just select those and we're going to head and approve them for bulk receipt. So that means that I want to receipt them, or you can go ahead and mark them as ignored. Essentially, marking them as ignored means that Keela will not issue transactions for a receipts for those transactions. So I'm going to go ahead and approve them. And then once you've approved transactions, you're going to go move over here to our approved transactions tab. So you're going to see a list of the approved transactions for the current fiscal year or the previous year. So let's go back to the current year and you can go ahead and select all of the transactions here and we can go ahead and issue the receipts from selection, or you can go ahead again and mark them as ignored. I'm going to go ahead and issue receipts from selection and I'm going to go ahead and name the receipt group. So let's do receipts October. And then you can generate the delivery method. So you want to generate receipts and send them by mail. You want to generate just the receipts for print and mail. Or you want to create receipts and letters for print and mail. And then you can decide here if you want one receipt per donation or a cumulative receipt per donor. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. And then if there's missing information for any contacts for issuing receipts, you're going to get this a action message here. So you can go ahead and add the missing information, or we can go ahead and skip and issue the receipts for those, and you can click save. So your receipt is being processed. And then the last one is here, receipt groups. And this is where you're going to see all of the receipt groups that you've been issued. So the last one that I just created is processing, but you can see the other ones are sent, receipted. And if you open one that has already been done, you can see the transactions that were receipted there and the receipts here.